Welcome to the Retrospect podcast, a show where three guys come together from different walks of life and discuss topics from their generation's perspective. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by X-Man.
Hey, everybody.
And Stoney.
Hey, everybody.
So,
Is there a parrot in here?
Right.
How original, Stoney.
Oh, man.
I'm just
the greatest generation. They're so original.
Oh, man. Anyways, this week I was supposed to have something, but due to recent events, I have my head has not been in the right space. So X-Man's going to take this one for me, and I think he says he has something he wants to talk about.
You know, I totally have something that I want to talk to you all about, and this really, it really came from a recent trip that I took, and I just couldn't believe my eyes when I just saw the different diversities together, like different people from different walks of life, all in one place. And what struck me was there were all kinds of weird couples, like people that you wouldn't necessarily put together, right? Or things that you didn't think these couples would have in common. So here's my question. Just thinking through the lens of your generation, what did your generation find attractive about somebody, and why?
Oh, man. I don't even know how to gauge that one.
I know.
Wow.
Right? That's dangerous when we all have three good-looking women, and now we're fixing to.
Right.
I don't want to have to sleep with one eye open.
Hey.
No, but seriously, my generation was really kind of weird because I think if anything, ours was always very rebellious. Right. I felt like a rebellion was a very attractive thing, especially in the 80s. You can hear it in a lot of the pop culture and stuff. But that was never the thing that did it for me personally. So it's not like I would look at someone like a Madonna or something and think, oh, wow, you're so attractive. Right. And I just, music, great and cool, but wasn't necessarily the thing that was like, oh, wow, I found you awesome. I want to be your husband. I want to, it wasn't there wasn't no attraction in that. But what was it in your culture though? Who was it in your culture that really stood out to you, and who in general do you think that your generation found attractive, and why were they such a big deal?
Oh, dude.
ABBA.
ABBA
is, no. I'm saying Hottie Doctor and I were just literally talking about this day before yesterday.
Right.
ABBA never did any concerts after they quit. And they basically said, because we don't want to see people watch us age.
Right.
Because remember the little blonde, I forgot her name. She was voted best butt in the world or something for so long. And then we just found out that they're coming out with a we were just talking about it, the Star Wars, the Star Trek, I'm sorry, the room where you could go in and see the holodeck. They're doing a hologram concert with ABBA in it, with new songs and new stuff like that.
Interesting.
But it's the old images of the people?
I don't know. We were just talking about it. She saw something.
Sounds interesting.
Passing, and I'm going, but back then the song was Flat Bottom Girls.
Right.
We looked at the butt back then.
Right.
The butt and the boobs.
Right.
But I came from the generation that originally split off. You had the early age, everything was appropriate.
Yeah.
You dressed appropriate. People got on the plane in a suit and tie or jacket.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now you got the hippies going this way and the appropriate people going this way. So
that was my generation. But hey, let's get back to your little appropriate people. Why did y'all dress up on planes? That's so uncomfortable, and you smoked in there too.
Because we had respect for everything that we did.
Right. Oh my gosh, are you serious? Everything.
Talk to some of the flight attendants and the pilots from back in the day, and they were like, people were polite.
Right.
They did what they were asked.
We're also talking, back in the 80s, I just know that you guys smoked everywhere. So I mean, I watch out what you're
Yeah,
saying.
but it wasn't cigarettes.
I mean, come on.
Absolutely
It
was.
was. I mean,
cigarettes.
yeah.
We stopped all of that.
Man, I remember in my childhood they were starting to get rid of like smoking sections in restaurants. I remember that was a thing that was being phased out as I was growing up.
We were smart. We stopped.
We got there eventually.
Yeah, we realized that we needed to knock off all that stuff that the boomers tried to romanticize.
Oh
This
you know,
country
like
was
smoke
founded
on a plane.
tobacco. Don't put that
Oh my
crap
gosh,
on me.
Here we go.
Oh man.
The founding fathers were tobacco farmers, among some other stuff.
I think obviously to go back to the original question, I think that obviously there are so many people in film and music that are obviously like the kind of the pinnacles for what people find attractive throughout every generation. Because even for myself, like there was someone in particular from a band called Paramore. And her name was Hayley Williams. And I remember I was just like so infatuated with the fact that she was like a pretty rock star girl. And I was like, man, because it was kind of like living the dream I want to live, but it's like this really attractive girl doing it too. And it's like, that's awesome. And I love that. And so I was like, for me, I was like, man, I would love to. I found that attractive. Like I would love to just say hello to her. I was like, that's so cool.
So see, now I find that like really energizing, and I can totally get why he feels that way. But you know what I'd really like for him to explain? Kim Kardashian. Like
I don't understand.
That's your generation.
You're right.
Tell me you're not going to like send your whole generation up the river again.
I will, because I'm like,
God, can you believe this guy? I swear.
Just for me, like there are. I think it's, I guess, certain conventional means of attraction I've never really been a big fan of with some of that stuff. Like I think that they're attractive, but at the same time, it's like, it just feels like fake almost.
I think there's a cycle of attractiveness. You know, right now it's back to kind of the thick. And then, you know, the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s was fit and trim because, you know, the first, you know, the 80s was all that TV stuff with the girls doing the yoga and gymnastics and stuff.
Pilates.
And you could watch it on TV.
Right.
And then back in the, you know, the 40s and 50s was kind of a thicker, you know, Marilyn Monroe was not a stick.
Yeah. Right.
You know, so I think it goes to these ebbs and flows of what, you know, men and women find attractive.
Yeah.
You know,
Stoney's generation gets credit for Richard Simmons.
Come on,
that's your generation.
Right.
No, that's not my generation.
Oddly enough, now the dad bod is in fashion.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You know, and I think that's really fun.
That's just because the millennials are lazy.
I mean, hey, maybe it is.
No, but I'll tell you one thing that I'm just going to claim on behalf of my generation. Like, I'm super proud. 2 words. Her name is Angelina Jolie.
Oh, wow.
I mean, wow.
But it also it reinforces what I was saying before. Is like a lot of people from, I mean, obviously I think that, like, again, once upon a time there was like magazine models as well was another probably big thing that you probably I don't really see a whole lot of now. Now it's Instagram models, but it's like, for me, a lot of times it was always like film and movies. Again, I love Star Wars. There was definitely a point in time when I watched the prequel trilogy of movies, and Natalie Portman was in there, and I just thought she was very attractive. I don't know what it was.
It's always the aliens with this guy.
No, she wasn't an alien. Jesus.
She sort of was.
She
hung out with a lot of them.
I mean, no, but
again, she's technically an alien.
What is it with this
guy,
man?
You got me. Oh, shucks.
I think, and that's what's so interesting about, you know, I like your subject here because you can walk down the street and see so many different type of couples.
Oh, right.
You know, you can have, you know, and what's the old adage? You know, I think we said this before. I think it's a Common Core math. You know, Bob is 63. Bob's girlfriend is 23. How much money does Bob have?
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
everybody finds something attractive.
Right.
You know, and it may not be what you find attractive. And you go, wow, I don't get it. They do.
Of course. Yeah.
They get it. And that's what's so important.
You know, which kind of gives us another question to come and mull over in this same genre is like, okay, so we've talked about the opposite sex, but like, what was like your man crush that you wanted to be like that person?
Dude,
like you thought, wow, you know, that would be incredible if I were that cool.
Man, there again, it probably fits in the same vein as for me with music. I've always loved a certain genre of rock music and stuff, and so there's always these kind of like edgy rock star looking guys or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, that's so cool.
Right.
And again, obviously, a lot of the times whenever I was younger, it was a lot about the stuff and the people you know. As I've grown up, it's like, okay, well, it's not always about that. So it's like, it kind of is about how you carry yourself and more about the personality. It's like how you, but there are certain guys back then I was like, I wish I had all his stuff or his guitars or his whole music setup or whatever, because it's so cool.
Yeah.
But, I know sometimes it's all
show. Edgy rock guy is cool, but I'd definitely be interested.
I've never got that.
Other than that first, giant ape on Darwin's theory of evolution charts, the Neanderthal one with the big forehead. Who else did you admire, Stoney?
I had to guard these people, as a bodyguard, so I got to see their real life. I'm really not that impressed.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Really? I saw this famous rock group, and they got off the stage, put all of their leathers and clothes in a trunk,
right,
and sent it to the next show.
Wow.
Never washed.
Oh, gross.
The whole concert season.
Oh, I believe
they just keep on wearing the same old nasty.
Some of these people are nasty.
Right.
And it kind of cured me.
Interesting.
It kind of cured me.
Right.
I found one or two people that were some of the nicest, appropriate people on the planet. One of them I can say is Frankie Beverly from Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Right.
An amazing individual.
Yeah.
Short of that, some of these people are just nasty.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. 100%. I have, again.
And once you see them in that light, all of this other stuff goes away.
Yeah. I have definitely been in the same vein where I have gotten a little too close to. I've had in the similar issue where you have the never meet your heroes thing because they can turn out one of two ways or whatever. I've had in both spectrums where I've met some music mentor or music idols almost, and they've turned out to be really cool, and some of them have turned out to be real jackasses because I've worked with them in a professional setting where I was not just a fan. I was being paid to be there, and I was like, I'm getting treated like crap here,
Right.
Or vice versa. It's like I'm getting paid to be here, but I would be here if I wasn't getting paid because these people are so nice and so cool. So,
yeah. I did a little run with entertainment too, and I have to say, I'm going to confirm everything you've said. There's some. I'll tell you, the nicest people I ever met that I worked with were the Dixie Chicks. You remember them?
Really?
They were so sweet and so loving and so kind, just genuine kind people. But you know who was a total douche?
I think you told me about this
Dave
before.
Sanborn, man. I'm like, seriously?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I would never expect that. But the guy just was not. I mean, he was very, very Devo, man. I mean,
And, for me, since we're naming names.
Right, since we're dropping names.
Let's offend somebody right now.
Well, that's what we're
Everybody
supposed
hold
to
your
do.
breath. We're
Excuse
going to
me.
get offended. 1, 2, 3. Huey Lewis from Huey Lewis and the News.
Oh, I love his music.
I can't stand him.
He's awful?
Yes, when he came through town,
Really?
Somebody contacted me and said, "Hey, something happened. He needs some security. Can you handle this?" And I went, "Yeah,
sure.
He's got a good song or two."
Yeah.
He was a dick.
Power of
Can
love.
I say that?
Yeah.
Can I say that
I
on
mean,
this?
I guess
Sure.
so.
Okay.
I mean, you already did. So
Yeah, right. No, you may not.
Yeah.
He's a dick.
Wow.
So,
So what was
this
it?
dude was so pretentious.
I just gotta
here I am.
I got to be careful not to trip on all these names we're dropping though.
Here I am, busting my ass to protect him.
Right.
And I don't really care about the money because the money I was getting
Yeah.
paid was just, it was really good.
Yeah.
And he hands me a $5 bill and says, "Here, this is for you."
Oh, nice.
Wow, nice.
I went, "What?" I dropped it on the
Thanks,
ground.
big spender.
I dropped it on the ground and I said, "Sir, I'm not here for that. Thank you."
Yeah.
I'm like,
Come on.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Man.
Like he was so much better, and I don't like that.
That's interesting.
You didn't sing "I'm Happy to Be Stuck with You"?
I got away from him as quick as possible.
Wow. That's too bad. I always liked his music. But
Yeah.
but was there anybody, though, that you were kind of like, ugh, I wish I had that kind of swagger? I mean, you know who I always thought of that was amazing, and that was the dude who played James Bond.
Which one?
Oh man, yeah.
Not the one.
Not
from
that
your
one, but the other one?
Yeah, not
The
that
other
one, but
guy?
the other one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Number
no,
4 or
what was-
number 3?
No, it wasn't
Sean
Sean Connery. No, that's before me. That was what was the one right after him?
I think I can. I have his face in my head.
Pierce
like I know.
Brosnan came 2 after him.
No, that's the one.
That's
Pierce
the one,
Brosnan.
Pierce
Yeah. I mean, he just has that kind of he's like a chick magnet.
Cool
He's
guy
probably
swag.
like everybody, look great in a tux, and that's kind of the thing. But what's amazing when I saw this stuff on my trip was picture him, with somebody that is just completely not like that, you know, and that's
Right.
what I kept seeing in the courtyard. I was like, it was a big plaza. It was out front of a big building downtown, and I was looking across, and I was just like, some of these people, they just don't look like they belong
they don't
together.
fit.
But in this world,
Yeah.
and this is a crazy, screwed up world.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's
No
bad,
way.
especially right now. I look at people.
He means this instant, like in this room.
Right.
I don't see people like that. I look at it and I say, man, if you can find love in this world,
Right.
amen.
Okay.
Find it.
Yeah.
Hold on to it. It
All right.
doesn't
Right.
matter what he or she or whatever looks
Yeah.
like. Grab onto it and hold it as tight as possible. Because that moment, you don't know how long it's going to last.
So is that unconstrained? I mean, is that like if you find love in someone who
I'm not talking about aliens.
Oh, I see.
Why
I
not?
feel
I'm not talking about aliens.
I feel like I'm being discriminated against now, even though I don't even believe those morals.
No, I'm just saying, if you can
Right.
find it, because you really don't know how long it's going to last.
Right.
You know,
I
I'm
understand,
back in
yeah.
that world when I was doing that stuff. Whoever I was with could have lost me at a moment's notice.
Right.
Here I am. I'm looking at Hottie Doctor's been scheduled for surgery on
Right.
Monday.
Yeah.
Oh
You know,
man, we're praying for her.
It's not a massive surgery, but
Right.
there's always a risk.
Of course.
And you just kind of wonder, you know, did I hold her enough? Did I tell her
Yeah.
enough that I loved you?
Yeah.
Did you just stroke that little hair
Right,
enough
right.
times, you know, off of her eye
Yeah.
to let her know that even the little things are important?
Right.
And to me, that's what counts.
Yeah.
If you have that moment with somebody, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
Yeah. I have
Hold on tight.
I have felt something similar to that.
That's how Miss Rachel must feel, you know, about X-Man here.
Right.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just hold on tight.
He knows how she feels. Wow.
I don't know. I mean,
Listen, this guy is incredible. Not
Right.
only is his generation the greatest,
Man,
he
yeah.
even reads other people's minds.
oh, dude, I have thought a similar thing to that.
Just picking X-Man.
I'm not worried.
I had a similar feeling to that, just worded a little differently. For me, I've had I've had this conversation with many friends, and again, speaking with different races or sexualities or whatever you believe in, I was like, as long as it is between consenting adults,
Yes.
do whatever you want to do.
Yes.
I mean, live your life. Like I said, obviously you don't want to break any laws or do anything against people's wishes or anything, but that's kind of, for me, is like, if you guys are both adults and you guys are both consenting or you guys are all cool with it, I mean, hey, live your life.
But what if they're getting their strange on? Like, have you ever heard of these furries?
I don't want to talk about that.
No, like they have
But,
conventions
again,
in Las Vegas. I
and
think
for-
they're really
And for me,
wild.
like I said, there's some
Is
stuff.
it legal?
They
Is it
dress up like
consenting?
like animals, like furry animals.
But what I'm
and
saying
that's
is,
what
again,
they're
if you want to do that at your house, I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do. But just, I don't know, maybe don't do it in public.
I agree.
Right.
You know,
That's what I was asking. Is there
Yeah.
any constraint on this? Like, is there ever anything too far, or is it all just good as long as everybody's an adult and agrees?
yes.
I mean, that's what I was
Okay.
thinking.
Yes.
I mean, like I said,
All right.
now I say that, and again, obviously, I there's probably some kind of gray area. I don't think everything's so black and white, obviously. But I mean, like I said, as long as you guys are both happy and are both consenting with whatever's going on, I'm like, hey, like, live your life. Like, don't hurt anybody. Just do good.
Well, unless they like pain.
But I mean, still, like,
As
I mean,
long as it's consensual.
I don't know. Hey,
So let me tell you the feeling that I got when I was on this plaza, looking across it, thinking, "Wow, this is really crazy." One thing that I noticed was just how we judge a book.
Right.
The first thing I was looking at
Right.
was like people's clothing and their
Yeah.
their skin color, their hair, their like whatever. There was all
Right.
kinds of differences. But I started thinking, man, this is actually like really beautiful. Like, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
this is so diverse. And these people that don't look like they go together, they have a free place where they get to do that,
Right.
where they can,
Yeah.
Well, but when you are forcing people of man and woman, white and black,
Right.
yellow, when you're forcing people to follow a set of guidelines, it's forced. Isn't it awesome and beautiful that these people can find somebody somewhere that they just love?
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
that's what I was
And
saying.
those things just don't matter anymore.
I just hope our
understand.
world gets more that, like your generation and beyond. Like, I really hope that's your contribution to the world. It's just like to continue to push those boundaries and get, and just like Stoney's like, like allowing people to let, because let me tell you, bro, back in the day, you didn't, no interracial marriage. No, I mean, those were taboo things that didn't, I mean, they were not, not allowed. I mean, that's period. Right. I mean, people would die.
Well, they were done. You just did it in quiet. You just didn't let anybody know.
Surprise, surprise.
But the truth is the truth. The truth is the truth, no matter what age, what generation it comes from.
Yeah. Which I think is really
Thomas Jefferson, had children with one of his slaves.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what's funny is when, the truth is still there.
Right.
And you have laws or supposed laws written to cancel the truth out. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen no matter what. And the truth will always come out.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I had a gay uncle, and that's what he said. He was like, they push us into the secret places and then bag on us for not being able to love each other in public, like normal people. But normalized behavior is frowned upon, and so we get pushed into these closets or whatever, and therefore we always kind of like, it always kind of feels like an internal battle of like whether or not you're going to actually live your life as you, or if you're going to do it in some secret way. And I really feel bad for people that had to experience that, because that's got to be like really hard. And you know what? If there's anybody listening that had to deal with that, I hate that for you. Like, absolutely. I really want you to know that was harm done to you, and I see it. But beautifully and diverse as the world is becoming, we still have, like, I think, more to go with that. And things that we find attractive, I think we need to work on that too, because, like, here I am idolizing Pierce Brosnan, right?
Right.
So why wasn't I idolizing, some amazing philanthropist or some that wasn't necessarily famous, but just had a giant heart and really made a difference in the world?
Yeah. Well, and that's the same thing.
That's the difference in our generations. Right. Y'all, and it started with yours, X-Man, and it is really prevalent in yours, Ian. When my heroes were policemen,
right? Yeah,
the priest, the pastor, the president, astronauts,
right?
That's who I grew up wanting to be, and it wasn't because of what they had; it's because of their contribution,
right?
And now, Kim Kardashian, I don't give a shit how big her ass is,
But
I don't need it on the news when I turn it on. That's why I don't watch the news anymore, because I don't need to know what her ass is doing today or what's covering it.
Right.
Okay.
I want to know.
Kanye wants to know what her ass is doing. Let me tell you.
Yikes.
But that's none of my business.
Right. Of course.
And I don't care.
Yeah.
And so when I look at people now, you can become a star or a reality star for taking your bra and panties off on a, survival place just so you can get a piece of cake. That's not important to me.
Yeah.
That's not a contribution. That's taking advantage of a situation, and I'm not going to idolize that. I'm not going to want to be that person.
Yeah. But I think all of our cultures, every one of our generations, kind of a common thread is that we've idolized people who look good, who are beautiful, who, who dress well and who are articulate, all these things, famous, fame and all that. But I have to tell you, like, when are we going to wake up and start, like, finding kind of our the things that we want to aspire to be in other areas, like intelligence, like I don't think people really say that much, like, who I really wanted to be was this really amazing person who cured polio or something. Like, it's just not what happens. So many times we like reduce ourselves to like,
I think it's as we were talking about before. I think it's that this ebb and flow history, I think, constantly repeats itself. It's like, I feel like we get to this point where I think things change a little bit. I think we're in the process of stuff changing a little bit, but it's like, I think there's always going to be this, whatever the next best thing is to look good on.
Well, back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even in the 80s, if you wrote a book, you could be a rock star.
Right.
It could be a terrible book.
Yeah.
And you could still be a rock star.
Yeah.
Now, where are we at now?
But it's the influencers.
That's what I'm saying,
I mean, geez, like...
I was right there on the ground floor of when like YouTube was like really becoming a thing and was like really just, I had stopped watching television because there was so much stuff on YouTube like in the early 2000s. And I just remember just taking in a whole bunch of like media, and I was like, I want to do this because it seems fun and it seems accessible and it's easy. I never really, I mean, I did some, but like I never really like did anything with it. And then like looking onto it now, it's like it's been reduced to even less than that, and you get even so much bigger. Like you can do seconds worth of video and it hits millions of people on TikTok, and I'm like, that is insane.
Yeah, when I first met Magnus, what do you want to be?
Right.
I want to be a TikTok star.
Oh, that's what.
No. Wait, what do you want to do in life? I want to be an internet star.
Yeah.
Right.
No, what is your contribution? I want to be an internet star. And I'm like, you can't do that. You know, these people do something stupid and get a couple of hits and then think they're going to influence the world. No, they're going to have a bunch of dummies following them.
Right.
And they're going to make a couple of dollars, and then they're going to spend it stupid, and they're going to have anything to follow them. What do you want to do?
Oh, my God. We got to do a follow-up show just on that, because that would be very interesting to hear our takes on social media influences.
And so finally we found out he wants to be a beekeeper.
Right.
That's an honorable profession.
Yeah, that's
because if we lose our bees, we're all going to die.
Right.
It's that simple. If we lose our bees, we're dead.
Right.
And so we're helping him follow through with that now. You know, but when I first met him, internet star.
Right.
That's it.
Oh, and like, I mean, even today, like another thing that's becoming a very big that I have met people that have talked about before is OnlyFans and stuff. And I was like, you can only like make money off of your body for so long, I feel like, until like, again, like what is your backup plan? Like what is like your long-term goal here? Because like all this is like fleeting. So you need to like have something that you can like settle down with or whatever. Even I can understand that. And I'm an artist over here where it's just like, it's like I sometimes don't even take my own advice, but I don't know.
Are you kidding? You know how much money we're going to make off Stoney's body?
Wait a minute.
It's going to be incredible.
Oh,
we're going to sell every organ you have.
Donate it to science or something.
Right.
No, bro, we're gonna farm your organs out big time, bud.
I listen to this understood we like I've agreed to anything.
I'm agreeing.
He didn't just agree to it. He masterminded it.
Right. Oh man.
Well, I'm gonna have a confession. It's kind of
you were a stripper.
No,
wow.
no, but
Chippendales.
I have no comment to say about that.
Congratulations.
Nothing I say will be used to condemn myself. But no, here's what I want to confess to Ian. So your rock and roll star dream,
right?
If there was one rock and roll star that I could be, I know who it would be.
Who's that?
Bono.
Really?
And let me tell you why. Because the dude had the balls enough to say I was wrong. He got up and he like gave this like scathing blistering to the church over being, over them sitting complacent while things were spiraling out of control, like the AIDS epidemic and like malaria in Africa and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the church responded to this blistering by creating things like Nothing But Nets and all these organizations that went in and basically eradicated some of these things from their land. I mean, seriously, like was so effective that it literally decimated like the problem. And then he came back and he said, you know what? I was wrong. Little did I know what a sleeping giant that actually was, I
mean, and sometimes you got to stir up the nest like that, dude.
But that's what I have to say is like he had the balls to go in there and like kick the nest, right? But it motivated to action beyond anything he could have imagined, right? So but what I loved about him is instead of going, look what I did, he said, you know what? I was wrong about you. Actually, you have more power than I could even have imagined. You have more healing within you than I could even imagine for the world. So I think that because of that, he became a deeper, heavier, more focused on philanthropy and stuff. And so I've always really, really admired that about him. He's not the best looking dude in the world. He's not the most talented singer in the world. He's not the best guitar player in the world. But he's got a great band and he's got a great heart, and he really does think through things, and he's humble, and I really like that about him. He's humble at the right times, and he's assertive.
That's a great example of somebody to want to be like.
Yeah.
He took what he had and he used it to benefit other people. And then not only did he do that, he engaged a whole movement behind him.
Yeah.
And did that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, when Robin Williams and those guys got together and did the Farm Aid stuff.
Yeah.
They took what they had and benefited other people for it.
Yeah.
That's somebody I could want to aspire to be.
Well, and see, that's what I want to challenge the generations too. It's like, find people like that. I mean, it's okay for them to be famous, and it's okay for them but go out there and be attracted to somebody who actually does good
It's
things.
not all about the looks.
It's not just about what they do, and it's not always just about them. Sometimes it's going to be about other things. And I'm not saying that Kim Kardashian doesn't do great things.
Right.
And I'm not trying to bag on any specific person. I'm just saying that, I wish that we would really consider when we're thinking, oh, I really wish I was more like that we really think that through and think deeper than skin deep.
But when you want to be like somebody else, you're limiting who you are and your capacity to make changes. Because what if your gift is not the same gift they have?
Only if they already possess what you have. I mean, if what they have is something different, it could actually challenge you to get out of your own box. It could. I think personally. What do you think?
All right. I mean, yeah. I think it kind of goes back to what we were saying before. It's like the stirring up the nest kind of thing. It's like sometimes if somebody is on the same level as you, but of course is doing more with it sometimes, for me at least, will be like, it stirs me up to like, I should do more with what I have. I kind of,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I feel like I should, it makes me sit down and really think why am I not doing that?
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. What I'm saying is don't go do what they did.
Yeah.
Use your passion, use your goals, be inspired.
Yeah,
right.
Do you.
Be inspired. Absolutely be inspired, but don't try to be like somebody else.
Yes, yeah. I see what you mean, and I agree with that, yeah.
Now take that inspiration and that motivation and look inside you and say, what can I do with my gift?
So is there somebody that was in your generation that you're like, I just don't get it? Because mine was Gilbert Godfrey.
Wow.
What the heck?
Wow.
Who else? Who was it that you were kind of like, I just don't get what anybody...
I mean, like what we're talking about, the Kardashians right now. It's one of those situations where logically I understand why they're pretty, everything's perfect, they're full of drama.
Not perfect.
But I know. But again, the perception of them is perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like magazines,
glamorous.
Glamorous. It's like everything is photoshopped to perfection, and it's like I logically understand why people are drawn to that, because again, it's this picture perfect scenario. But I don't understand, and it's things like that. It's not just the Kardashians when I say that. I mean, like conventionally attractive Instagram models.
But why do people want to watch everything they do on TV? Every single thing.
And it's the same thing with why do you want to sit here and scroll through Instagram photos of people who are living the life you want to live when you should just go live it? That's where I'm coming from. It's
that's good.
And then getting depressed by it because it's not what you have. And again, when it's just a bunch of curated photos from one or two trips, but it makes it feel like they live this life that you wish you could have, and it's like none of it's real.
It also cuts all that shit out. Like my rent-a-car place sucked. They treated me terrible. The manager yelled at his employee.
I mean, again, I'm not gonna I think I live a pretty good life, but I'm not gonna go posting on Instagram that my AC's broken whenever that happened recently. It's I'm not just gonna go. That doesn't. I don't know. It's one of those things where I
actually do have. I can respond to that.
Okay.
Right.
From my generation.
All right.
Yeah.
Jane Fonda.
Now,
this woman went to Vietnam to witness the POWs.
Yeah.
In there where they were being kept. They passed her notes, said we're being mistreated and tortured. Please send help.
Right.
And she turned all of those notes over to the captors.
Yikes.
I don't get that. She slapped America in the face. She slapped all of those people in the face. And she comes back and still has a career in America.
Oh, I mean, there's people like that. Like, I don't understand how Chris Brown has a career.
America is so great.
Hot take, but I can't,
America is so great that people who hate this country won't leave.
Oh, man.
They threaten.
Just go.
They do threaten.
Well, they threaten all the time, but they don't want to leave their parents' basement.
Yeah, I do want to say this. Like, when everybody was like, kind of fed up with Trump, all of those people that said that they were going to move to a different place, and not very many of them did.
Right.
I don't think any of them did.
I actually did.
And now those same people are upset about what Biden's doing. They're like, oh, yeah, maybe we did something bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those scenarios when it comes to that kind of stuff that's like, I don't know.
If you don't get something for free and you have to work for it,
yeah,
you're going to hate whoever's making you do it.
Right.
Now I'm going to tell you. Now I've got to confess my old lady crush.
Uh-oh.
It's Dolly, man.
I was going to say
Dolly
Betty White.
Well, that too. Her too.
Who?
Betty White.
But I do like blondes. My wife is blonde, so she'll understand.
Nice.
But I have to tell you, like Dolly Parton is just a sweet, great song.
You can't go wrong with.
She wrote "I Will Always Love You." It was the greatest song. And then also, but she does a literacy program for children that really changed the lives of people in Tennessee and then beyond. Like it really went nationwide and then worldwide. And so, people who use that platform to go in and do something incredible, I really think they deserve the props and to me that's most attractive. So I think what's changed for me though is that I've kind of moved in my own mind from these places of these shallow attractions, like I think that there's got to be more there. There's got to be some meat on the bone. It can't just be this, wow, you're beautiful and I want to be like you. Like I feel like now my bar is raised. I want a little bit more,
And that's where the Hottie Doctor came from. I had traveled around and seen this and saw that, and I realized I wanted something more.
Yeah.
So I started finding my passion.
Right.
And I think that's where you need to look.
Oh,
is, everybody goes, ooh, she's got a nice set of legs. That's not a reason to chase that woman.
Yeah. She can have a crappy personality.
She could have a crappy personality. She could have zero drive. She could have.
How many of my friends dating?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Like I've met some real.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of like, bro,
so
what are you doing?
My favorite thing, and this has happened to me on numerous occasions, my favorite thing is whenever, for me at least, whenever I was single and down on my luck and just looking for somebody, no one came around. But the second I'm in a happy relationship is when everyone comes knocking.
Do you know why that is? Do you know why that is? I had a conversation with Hottie Doctor about a month ago on this very same thing. I when the time was when I was single, I would go out.
Right.
I'm an okay-looking guy.
Right. You're like, go ahead, give it a shot.
I'm personable, and I would always get numbers. And my friends were like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And they would say, well, I would tell them, tell me how you go out. Well, I went out to the bar, and I sat at the bar, and, I asked about 15 women to dance and for their numbers. And I says, how many did you get? Zero numbers.
Yeah.
And I says, okay, I'm going to fix this for you. What I want you to do is go to the same bar Friday night and take 3 friends. And I want you to sit at a table and pretend like you're telling jokes all night long and laugh,
have a great time,
and pretend like you're having a great time. Women cannot stand for you to have a great time and them not be involved.
Oh, man.
So what?
This is this guy's dating scheme?
Hold on. I asked him, did y'all do that? Yes. How many numbers did you get? He said, I got 7 telephone numbers.
Wow.
And I says, the reason is because they want to be the center of attention. And if you don't take the time to make a woman the center of attention, you're not going to go.
There's half of our audience offended.
Well, I thought we were here to offend somebody.
Right.
We are equal opportunity offenders.
But it's kind of true. And in a relationship, we're all
in everyone's defense, I think it works on both spectrums.
I don't disagree with that.
When a group of girls having a fun time, you know for a fact that one guy's like, I want to be the center of attention. I want to be the front of that.
Let me go see if I can get in this.
Because I know I've been that guy before where I'm like, pay attention to me. I'm funny.
Was there an alien in one of those?
No, there was not.
Okay. So I tell you what, did it for me. Like my wife is she has a pair. Like, I mean, she can tell you
right.
like it is. Like you're not gonna get stuff past this woman. Like she's gonna call you.
When he said
BS.
When he said a pair, I was going, "Oh, I hope he's not going in that direction."
Poor thing. No. Look up, Stoney.
Right.
Anyway, she is one of those that like she's assertive. She's smart, witty. You know what I thought was great about her is that like she was so forward that it kind of took me back. I was the one that was kind of like, it took me a while to give her my number, like a couple of weeks. Like I would not talk to her just on the computer, like just through private chat.
Yeah.
I would not talk to her on the phone.
There's something
for
about
2 weeks because she scared me at first. I was like,
but the neat thing about the two of y'all is the word genuine.
Yeah.
You were two of the most genuine people I've ever met. And that's a great basis to start a relationship on.
Yeah.
Did he basically just say he loves us? I mean, I feel like he's.
I think
I went that far.
His eyes were kind of starry.
If nothing else, I think he likes you.
Apparently, Stoney likes me a lot because I saw his eyes. It was beautiful. It was really. Thank you for that moment, man. I feel adored.
And that was recorded too.
Wow. I'm gonna come back. Could you bookmark this, please? I need to. I need to listen to this every day.
I'm never saying anything nice on this show again.
Never. What I was gonna say was there is something attractive about like a confident woman, I think is another thing.
Yeah.
Yes. I think like as you were saying about that, I thought about that as you were talking about it, and I was like, there is something. I mean, again, like I said, it works in both directions. When you're confident in yourself and you feel good about yourself, it's something that carries. Yeah. And I have felt that with certain people.
Who I like from your generation that's like that?
Who's that?
Lady Gaga.
Oh,
man, she's like a badass. She says what she wants.
Confident.
She wears a meat dress. She doesn't care what you think. She's gonna go out there.
How many animals did they have to kill for that meat dress?
Oh, dude, how many animals did they kill to do to operate a McDonald's drive-through every day? Come on, I mean,
damn. I felt that burn all the way from over here.
I don't care. I'm a meat eater. I just want to know if she's trying to be a vegan. Why would she kill animals to make a dress?
I don't know. Maybe she had something to say, but who knows? But I thought it was cool. What I'm saying is she's confident, and I love the fact that she goes over there and she sings with Tony Bennett of all people,
yes. Right.
And then she goes and she sings with Bradley Cooper, and then she goes like this lady like is afraid of nothing, right? I mean, she's just confident, and I love that too.
Didn't she start off as like an Instagram or something on Facebook or something? I think she got a start on social media.
I think she's very well trained. Her classical training, though, I think she has a real classical music background.
Oh man, and that's so interesting too. I sometimes I shit on the internet too much, but like there are people, even myself included, that have certain talents that I think may not have had the opportunity back in the day that now do, and I think that's so awesome.
Well, that's what's cool about it is anybody can be a star now.
Right.
So that's kind of the conversation we definitely should come back and visit. Is about social media influence. But Stoney, like who from your generation was that confident woman that kind of set a precedence, for your generation? Kind of somebody that everybody rallied around. And can you think of anybody? And who was it for you, Ian? Like,
oh man.
We had really good stars then, and it was different. Gary Cooper, the star from the movie you mentioned in a past episode, Jimmy
Stewart.
Yeah. And then Janet Leigh. We had stars that had talent, and they used those talents. Today, you don't actually have to have talent.
Right.
You can sing and you can turn a couple of little buttons and knobs and make you sound better, but these people had real talent. I don't want to be crazy, but Jerry Lewis was my idol.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize he was brains behind him and Dean Martin.
Oh, I believe that.
He was the brains.
Right.
He invented stuff for film today that's still used. The seconds camera, the little camera on the side, so they can see what they call them dailies.
Yeah,
they still use that.
I kind of feel like Abbott and Costello passed the torch to them, and they kind of took it and ran with it in your generation. I don't know that other than the people off of SNL or something like that. I don't know that any comedy group really could add to that. And I will say, Stoney, I'm going to say right now, your generation had incredible comedians.
Oh, yes.
Like Carol Burnett and all all these people that I could name 100 comedians out of your generation that were actually the slapstick, physical humor, really funny and good stuff. And I think that's very attractive too. You know, if you can't have somebody in your life that makes you happy and makes you, makes you laugh.
You could do and say things back then that you can't now.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, just look back at the Dean Martin roast and things like that. You know, what they said then, you can't say now.
Interesting.
No. Yeah.
So what, a lot of stuff like that. What about you? Like, did you have somebody from yours that you just thought, wow, that's a strong human being?
I can't think of anybody off the top of my head right now, besides the ones that I've already mentioned before, that I was like, even still to this day, I think Haley Williams is such an awesome musician and such a awesome person as well outside of her art, and it's just all that kind of stuff. And so there's probably people in that same spectrum for me. I was never really in the pop circle, and like the R&B, like hip hop group that was coming up, but I know there's a lot of people in that group as well that have been very instrumental in change and in other stuff happening in the world like that. But for me, it's always been, more in the rock vein of there's all kinds of, like I said, men and women alike. But again, there's something I think about a confident woman that can sing well, and I was like, man, that's just.
I love Katy Perry, man. Right. I mean, she's amazing.
Right.
Katy Perry's awesome, and Carrie Underwood.
Yeah,
that girl.
Man. You talk about American Idol. Well, man, we used to watch it all the time.
I love her. But she's like done well. I mean, she's like Kelly,
multifaceted.
What's the first one? Kelly
Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson.
Right.
Like she's like her. Those two are on the same. They've like sold millions and zillions of downloads and just all kinds of.
They have
stuff.
branched out into other things too, which is awesome.
Yeah, like her show or Kelly Clarkson's talk show is like real popular right now.
I have not seen it. I don't watch TV, so that's kind of.
I'm always working during the day, but like it's very cool. But I tell you what.
Wait. Have you seen it?
What the TV
Kelly
show?
Clarkson?
He's not really a millennial.
No.
He just.
I think
I'm wondering if what time he wakes up, because the millennials they tend to sleep.
They do sleep a little late. Yeah. He probably watches the late afternoon version of General Hospital.
Right. Oh my gosh! Wow, what a blast from the past.
Wow. Oh, what's the new soap opera in that you watch?
I don't know.
There's a show called I Don't Know.
Maybe at this point, who knows? Yeah. But if we're going back, like if we can go back a little bit as well, and talking about the ladies in our lives, that have been, I think,
good for all of us.
Good for all of us. Yes. There has been, I have had relationships in the past that have like come and gone or whatever, and I really feel something different with what I have going on right now, and it's this like mutual understanding for each other. And this like common like emotion, and like it's crazy because it's like I've had these relationships where it's like it feels like there's like this disconnect when it comes to like communication and everything, but I feel like it's different now.
I agree,
it's like this
100%.
Right.
Because when I met Hottie Doctor, it was we call it the El Rio incident.
Oh, whoa.
It was our first date.
Yeah.
And,
wow. That sounds like
something.
Ground zero.
Something happened when we were eating our Mexican food.
Yeah.
She was sitting there, and everything that y'all have discussed, I saw right there.
Right.
Oh, that's
confident.
Awesome. Yeah.
Right. Purpose driven.
Yeah.
All of these things. She sat there with her legs crossed, looking at me like, you got about 5 minutes to prove what you gonna do.
Yeah.
But I knew right then and there. And we were talking. It was a blind double date.
Right.
The people that introduced us were there, and when the dinner was over, they left, and we kind of stood outside the little restaurant talking. And her presence, being in the field I used to be in, presence of mind is important. Head on a swivel is important. Right. And she just kind of looked at me now and she says, there's somebody at your 4 o'clock walking up very quietly behind you. Please be careful. And I fell in love right there.
That was wow. That's all
that was it. And I'm going.
She spoke your language.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. That's it. And, Magnus laughs at us because we have a language of our own.
Yeah.
We can hold a conversation and not say a word.
Yeah.
And so I feel everything you just said. I get that. because that's what happened this time.
But she was sizing him up too in that moment, right?
I mean, yeah.
She's probably looking at him. Have you ever seen the Sponge-worthy episode on Seinfeld? There was only one boxes of sponges left in the city for contraception, and the boyfriend wakes up the next morning and he rolls over like he's going back in for more, and she's like, "Oh no!" She's not going to spend another sponge on him.
Yikes.
She was sizing you up, bro. She was probably looking at you like, "Is this dude sponge-worthy?"
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Hey.
But you know what?
Can I kneecap him on the air?
But listen,
I see no evil, hear no evil.
No. But I love you. I tell you what I love about that. And Ian kind of got to it, was that she did speak your language.
Yes.
It's kind of like that moment, that instant that you know that you love someone, right? Like that kind of thing that they do, that it affirms everything. Right?
Well, I don't ever have to worry about, buying ammo on the sly. She's like, did you get me a box too? We have 3 matching guns.
Yeah.
We both are pistol instructors. We're both range safety officers.
Right.
And I'm going, is God just showing off right now?
Right.
Really, because that's what he's doing. If you check all of these boxes,
dude, okay, and
God's showing off at this point.
Can I just say,
absolutely,
there is a similar situation as well with that for me, where I found
you're alien.
I found.
I'm sorry, buddy.
I found her whenever I wasn't looking.
Right.
There was a point in time where I felt like I was lonely, and I was like, I felt, I don't want to say I gave up, but I definitely was like, I need to focus on myself. I got this to handle. I got this. And I was busy working 2 jobs and was just really putting in the time, because this was right around COVID. So it was like when it was like right just starting. So like I had the glorious opportunity with both jobs that I was working. I was getting paid for both and working both like at a pretty steady pace while also being safe. And so I was like very grateful and was like, hey, I'm going to take this opportunity and just make all the money I can, because I don't know if this is going to last forever. And then so whenever I put my head down, I was like, I'm going to focus on this, and I'm not going to worry about everything else. Everything's going to go to the wayside. And then wham, right there. And it's
I agree. It was 2 weeks before I was sitting on the same couple's couch.
Right.
I've given up. I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to concentrate.
This guy had a conversation with me
right
before the set, and he was all. I mean, you should have seen him. Picture this, everybody. Stony with his little arms crossed, with his little bottom lip. I'm never going to do anybody. Nobody. I don't want. I'm just going to be alone for the rest of my life. Oh man, it was like that dude on the King of the Hill that can't really say his words. He was such a whiny bag, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the guy's like, yeah, I got a date. And I'm like, what? With who? And she's a doctor. And I'm like, what? I mean, all of a sudden, this guy's out like with this beautiful woman on his arm, and he's all happy and smiley, and God.
He proved you wrong.
Dude.
I think you kicked him while he was down one too many times.
I didn't. I actually told him that he was not done, and that I was trying to assure him that he was, that there was somebody out there for him.
Right.
I was right, wasn't I?
Uh-oh.
I don't remember it like that.
Oh my God! Are you serious? What a liar!
The story's a little different in my head, I guess.
Wow.
Well, I certainly don't remember being that despondent. But okay.
Right.
Oh God!
But it was. I had
Yeah.
just come to the point where I was like, you know what? I had 2 jobs. I'm going to concentrate on some things. I had already thought about going back to school and learning some stuff, of which she came in and said, yep, we're going to
go ahead.
Hottie doctor, if you're listening, he was pathetic.
No, come on. Give him some credit.
You were the best thing that ever happened to him, and I love you.
True. That is true.
I love that you made him so happy, because he's been happy ever since.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Well, my lady, what I love about her is, and I'll tell you the instant that I knew I loved her was
when you molested her on the baggage claim.
That was
Hey,
no, it was actually, you know what? Same time, but it was the moments that followed that, when she sat in the car and just looked straight forward, like a little girl who couldn't say the next, because she had swallowed a canary.
Right.
When she looked forward like that.
I think we need to get her on so we can get her side.
No, you can, but listen, it made me feel like it made me feel like a man. like I knew I'd done something that kind of just put the brakes on somebody that probably wasn't used to that.
Right.
And so it was cool. It made me feel good about like us. Like I thought, okay, so, this is cool. She's assertive. She's strong. She knows what she wants.
Right.
And she just got it laid on her good. And now she's like willing to just sit there and kind of go, wow, what is happening? Because it was a crazy ride. It was a crazy ride.
In my scenario, it was like, in her scenario, she was not very open with many people and was not super like open to everyone. And so the moment for me was when I had there was this realization that she trusts me in a certain way.
Yeah.
And I noticed in her life the people that she does let inside are the ones that she really takes care of. And are like her people.
Right.
And then when I realized that I got to that stage, I was like, oh,
you're my people.
Yeah. And she trusts me now to a certain extent. It's like, oh, this whole next level of commitment almost in this scenario. So it's
So, all of this to say, y'all, when I looked out over that plaza, I saw the diversity. Right. I saw people that didn't look like they belonged together, but they did. They belonged together. And it's because they had found each other. They had chosen each other.
Right.
And it's probably going to sound a little cheesy, but it's not unlike us. I mean, we're different people. We're from different times.
Finds a way.
Here goes, Stoney. I'm gonna bounce some of your love back to you. But honestly, I feel that way. I feel like some of the most beautiful things in life are the most diverse things in life. I think that's what makes this work. I think so. What makes our conversations work. And so I just want to encourage people, though, when you are looking at who you want to do life with, who you want to spend your time with, who you want to admire and stuff, look for people who've got really good stuff going on, and that are wanting to do good things. I just feel like that's the thread. I feel like if you can get with other people, and you can bring out the best in each other, I really feel like you can change the world. And I mean that in big ways and in small ways. And so I just think that's really amazing. But thanks for tossing this one around. I thought it was kind of a fun thing to think about. I have to say, I definitely like the way that people impact others, and I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And I have some things I'm not, proud of. People who I've idolized and probably shouldn't have.
Yes.
And for all the wrong reasons. And so I still wish I could rap like Pitbull, though. It's a dream. What can I say? It's a crazy dream.
We all have our dreams, don't we?
I want to be bald and I want to rap. I mean,
you can be bald.
Shut up, Stoney. Is that an offer to shave me, you weirdo?
No, I'm not into this. You can be bald.
Don't be doing this furry thing, man.
Yeah, okay, hold on now. Anyways, thank you everyone for listening. This has been a very interesting, wild ride for this one.
Hopefully, we offended at least two people.
Come on.
Because we didn't offend anybody last episode. We need to offend at least 2 people this episode. So please let us know if you're offended.
Let's all gather around and get offended together, please. If you're looking for us, you can type in Retrospect on all the major platforms, and you can find us there. Or you can look up on Linktree /Ian Wolf, and you can see all of our links right there.
When do we get our own names with our own links?
Yeah,
we need our own links.
I can change it.
I want my own links. Okay. And if y'all aren't offended, screw you.
Right. Oh, whoa, wait a minute.
Well, we just lost the 2 listeners we had.
I just wanted to make sure everybody felt it.
Until next week, bye-bye.
See ya.
Peace.